Hey guys, today we're starting a mini-series of 4 episodes in which I show you how I made 4 nice little homes for my betta fish. Today we're starting with Mango, who many of you know. He's my oldest betta fish. I have him for about a year now, and his home really deserved a revamp. So let's go. His aquarium is an old fluval nano cube that I had for a few years. It used to be Charlie's initial home. Do you guys remember Charlie? Well, Charlie ended up in the community tank because he was a sweetheart, so I never actually used this tank way too much. First off, I will start with the substrate, which is a sort of a Franken substrate. I had the Tropica soil in a different scape for about a couple of months, then I dismantled that scape, so now I'm using it in a combination with some other substrates that I used in order to give me some of the benefits of aqua soils, but not actually give me a whole lot of nutrients. This will not be a high-intensity tank. It's gonna be a pretty low-maintenance one. I'm trying to create a small little slope, a little shallower at the front and deeper at the back. Since this is not a proper aquascape and it's a pretty tall tank, I'm not super interested in depth. You'll see when I add the hardscape why. In this setup, I'm not going to use any rocks. You might have heard me say in other videos that it's hard to find proper aquarium stones on my little island, but I actually found a lot of driftwood at a local pet shop, so I bought it all and used it all on the betta scapes. As always, it takes me quite a while to figure out which pieces I want to use, but ultimately, even after a few days, I reach a decision. When arranging hardscape, it's always a good idea to position the light where it actually will sit. This way, you can see where the shadows are cast, and you can move around the pieces so that they look their best. Initially, I had him plan an internal filter, and this is the Tetra In 400. As you will see further in the video, I gave up that idea because it's pretty powerful for a betta, for this setup, and it just takes up a lot of space. In the end, I used a Hang-On Aqua Clear 20. I find hang-ons are really suited for cubes because you can put them in the back, hide them in the background, and they will move the water as they should. Alrighty, time for the plants. I will only be using pretty low maintenance plants such as Java ferns, Anubias, all sorts of epiphytic plants that I will try to attach to the wood. I'm not a very huge fan of gluing stuff to wood because it's pretty hard to remove it afterwards. I typically glue them to little stones first and then I place them around, but in this setup I did glue a Bucephalandra. I had no choice, but it's better than covering the wood with glue. All of the plants that I'm using will do absolutely great in lower light conditions and without CO2. I have to say that at the moment that I was filming this, the stores did not have plants in stock. So this setup will have a few more plants in the future, but for now it will have to do with what I could find. No bettascape is complete without cryptocorynes. I love crypts. They can grow in pretty much any setup you put them in. I also found my favorite cryptocoryne, which is the Wenti Green. Not sure how you pronounce it, everybody pronounces it differently. Since I have a lot of room in the back, there will be quite a few stems. For now, just a little Rotella rotundifolia from my main tank. Time to add the water and time to hope that the wood will not float. Well, this type of driftwood typically does not float. I only had one incident, which you'll see in a future video, but all of the pieces were okay, they didn't float. So slowly but surely I am filling up the aquarium. I cannot actually install a hose to my sink. I'm seriously considering changing the entire faucet of my sink, but that's for a different project. For now, slowly and surely with the watering can. And hey presto, we are done. Now since the soil has already been used, it's not really leaching out a lot of nitrates. Tropica aqua soil does not leach ammonia, in my experience. ADA does, and that one needs to sit for a lot of time before you can add fish, but Tropica not so much. And since it's already been used in a different setup, I think there are some bacteria still left in it, so I don't need to wait 3 weeks to add a fish. I actually had to wait only a few days. Time in which I did add Seachem Stability, which I always add to my new tanks, and that really speeds up the process. By the way, I think you can see how strong that filter is. There is a flow adjustment, but it still was a little bit too strong, and it took up a lot of space. After a few days, the aquarium was ready to add the first inhabitants, so I went for a few shrimp. Mango is not as naughty as he used to be, so for the main part he leaves everybody alone, but I don't 100% trust him like I trusted Charlie. So we'll see how these shrimps do. I went for some orange neocardina shrimp. They look just beautiful, and I think they work well with Mango's color, along with 3 Amano shrimps that hopefully will take care of the little algae I might have at the beginning. After a few more days, it is time for Mango. And here is my big boy. I hope you can tell how big he is. He's the biggest beta I've ever had, actually. And of course, he's a little bit stressed at the beginning, but it's okay. He's gonna figure it out. After a few moments of trying to figure out what the heck is going on, he's starting to become very curious about his new surroundings. Mango is a bit of a curious fish, but now in his older days, he's quite lazy, so he does appreciate vegetation and leaves where he can sit on. Actually, he spends most of his times just chilling on the Microsorium leaf. Also, he has a lifetime friend. This snail is almost as old as him. It's a very big snail, you can't tell, but it's about 1.5 centimeters in diameter. Most of the times he leaves him alone, but some days he just flares up at the snail and displays for him. He never bites him, he never attacks him, so that's why I think he doesn't get bothered by it. But from time to time he does flare up for him, and it's always fun to watch. I'm happy I caught it on camera. Also, with betas, it's really important to have a lid because they can jump, and Mango already jumped once in the lid. He didn't fall, but I know he's capable of doing it. I need to cut the current lid of the tank because it doesn't go with the hang-on filter, but for now, it's better than nothing. And I do want to point out that even if many people try to grow betta fish in fish bowls without any filtration, without any live plants and so on, it isn't a good life for a fish. I know bettas can breathe from the surface, so they don't need oxygen in the water, but they do need really clean water. Those fins of theirs, which are unnatural, sometimes they get split, they get ripped, and they can get seriously infected if they're stressed, if the water is not clean. So please do your best to give your betta fish a decent tank. They don't need big tanks, as you can see, but they appreciate a good filtration, live plants, and clean water. And that's it for Mango. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it gave you some inspiration if you are looking for ideas for betta homes. With that said, hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!